Okay. So the air element, we discussed about the fire element. The voice is audible. Okay. Just making sure. Okay. The fire element. So it is representing the energy of heat and transformation. And Pitta dosha is predominantly fire element. And the other one, the fourth one, is called as water element. Jala Mahabhuta, we call it as. So it is representing the liquid state of matter. So where the fluidity uh, is so fluid state, liquid state of matter. So all the elements which is there in the liquid state. So the next one is the earth element. So earth element is that which is having the form and characteristics of solid state, which is causing the forms of the body itself. So in the body also, these hard substances or the kind of substances which is in solid form exists. That's like bones and solid organs, etc. So when these elements combine together to do some functions, that's how you can say they merge together, they interact together, come together, join together. That's when the dosha is formed. Dosha is nothing but a kind of physical, more than a physiological entity, more than the physical entity. So imagine the elements are there, they are dead, but when they are interacting, they are acting to when they are interacting between each other, that is when the life exists. So that is when the life is existing, then the doshas exist. So vata, pitta and kapha. Vata is combination of air element and space element. It is standing for the movement and mobility, all the kind of biological changes or the movements which is there. It is vata dosha. It is related to the vital life presence, that is like prana, that is we are inhaling, breathe through the breath. And air and space, they have certain characteristics. That is how it is been it will be demonstrated in physiology, that characteristics of air and space: dryness, lightness, coldness, subtleness, mobility, despairing characters. Yes, so that is the quality of air and the space itself. So we will see that how it is applied in our physiology as well when we think about the body types and etc. Next is pitta. Pitta is a combination of fire element and water element. So imagine fire is combining with the water. It is supposed to be liquid. It is like in a liquid form. You can imagine the enzymes and hormones which is circulating in the blood, hormones which is circulating in the blood, enzymes and the acids which is existing in our gut, for example, liquid form. So fire in liquid form, that is responsible for heating and transformation, which is responsible for heating and transformation. So that is easily observable in biochemical changes which is happening in our body, and metabolism, which is in the cells, the metabolism which releases the energy. So the food which we eat, whether it is carbohydrates, proteins or fats, they are taken to certain parts of the body or in the organs. They are going to be broken down into smaller pieces. They into these three food is going to be divided into these three forms. Perhaps for our understanding, these forms are being mentioned, and these things are being metabolized in different organs or in the cells. So for example, if the sugar has to be metabolized in this in the cells, it needs insulin. This is the most easiest example. Kapha dosha, its characteristics are hot, sharp, oily, light, pungent, and sour in characters when if you taste it, or rather the acidity it represents the acid characteristics spreading in nature. So yes. And kapha dosha is nothing but the water element and earth element. So you can imagine you make a clay pot, or a kind of building a wall. You need to mix the sand with cement and the water. So water and the mud, when they interact each other, it becomes like a paste. It becomes more solidified, but that is being dried by the air element to a very hard structures. So that's how the body structures are formed, by the combination of the solid matter with water element, and the air element dries it. So that's how the body structures are formed. It's also act like a glue when it is not dried by the air. It also holds the cells together. So the cellular walls are created by the kapha dosha. So it is slimy element, you can say, you can imagine. It is providing the lubrication also, sliminess, lubrication. Yes. It is representing the stability of the body. That is nothing but more of, we call it as the pure essence of the body, as immunity, as a ojas, we call. So it stands for the stability and pure nourishment, which is the substratum for growth. So it has characteristics of heaviness, slowness, coldness, oiliness, dampness, smoothness, static characters, not so easy to move. It is not so mobile, and viscosity and sweetness. So this, it is representing certain types of certain characteristics in the body. So when we see that, you will further understand. So before we, so the first we are discussing the things as the fundamentals of Ayurveda, the five elements, the pancha mahabhutas. We discussed five elements. Then we discussed about the doshas. Then we come to the fundamental concept. These are the fundamental concepts, otherwise you will not understand anything further. So this is called Prakriti. Prakriti is nothing but individual characteristics, which I explained you just in the beginning. Every individual is having certain types of inheritance, so inborn tendencies, so which is influencing our consciousness and activities. So physical, physiological, and psycho-spiritual inheritance is there. So it is what called as Prakriti. So it is not only the physical attributes of our parents which is being inherited. It is the physiology which has been happening, the gene expression, genes which we inherit has to be expressed in certain forms. That's why when we have different types of different environmental factors which influences our physiology, and psycho-spiritual inheritance as well. So there is a new branch of medicine, new branch of psychology, which is explaining about the memories which is being inherited through the genes, so which is influencing even the psychology of a person. So psycho-spiritual inheritance also exists, they say. We call it as atma, the continuity of the soul, that Hindu philosophy or Ayurveda believes in this continuity of the soul, so inherited soul. So body is not just a kind of mass which is being produced by the fertilization of ovum and sperm. It is coming to life when the atma or the soul is being imparted to it. So the soul has certain characteristics. So that's where this prakriti also comes. So it remains unchanged and all through the life. So we are defining the body, the prakriti, and it can, if you try to change it, it can lead to problems. So vata. So here we are trying to understand the doshas, and I just combined it together for easier, mm, to go fast. uh, Doshas, we discussed certain characters are there for each doshas, when because it is derived from the elements. And when it comes to the body, how it is being explained, so we take the qualities like dryness, lightness, coldness, roughness, irregularity, and mobility, and we apply it in body. So for example, vata person will have more dryness in the, or when the vata is increased, you will see these characters: dryness in the skin, hair, voice, lips, colon. When it is dry, you will have hard bowels, or um, very stools are very hard, or dryness of the colon. Lightness, they will have very thin muscles, bones, joints, thin body frame, and light sleep. They will not have the groundedness which is enough for them to sleep well. Cold, the poor circulation. So that means, that's example is that they will repeatedly say they have cold feet and legs. So because the external circulation is very less, peripheral circulation towards the extremities, it is less. Roughness, so dryness and roughness, they are quite existing in the same way most of the time. Cracked skin, cracked joints, nails, hair. So it is the lack of lubrication. Lubrication is two ways body gets lubricated. One is by hydration, that is drinking water. When you drink water, you get hydrated or lubricated. But another one thing is by good fats, healthy fats. So oleation, so the soft tissues has soft tissues and the collagen which is there, and inside there are fluids, joint fluids, which is reducing the friction between the bones. So that's when that is getting reduced, this cracking happens. Yes, roughness in the nails, hairs, teeth, hands, and feet. Irregularities. So the whether it is in the bones and the spine and teeth, there are irregularities um, which can be there. Um, Mind, yes, the mobility will result in so much of mobility will in Vata type of person, when their mind is not able to be staying focused. They will have forgetfulness. They are not so they are talking fast, but they talk for just talking, not coherent, not so connected. The words doesn't go connected. Fast movements, multitasking, mood swings, this is characteristics of vata people. They cannot have grounded, focused characters. So even a person, when they walk, we can assess a person's body type or a person's dosha, which is more predominant. So very quick, very irregular walking style, very fast, very so the if yeah, we will talk about the pitta dosha. Pitta dosha, it is basically more about hot, sharp, oily characters and liquid, spreading, sour, bitter, pungent natures. You can see that hot characters results in very good high appetite. So they are people need to be fed well. Otherwise, if they are hungry, they will get more angrier as well. So you need to give them their food in time, so they cannot tolerate the hunger, and they have comparatively higher body temperature. That means their metabolism is still higher, sensitive to hot weather, because they have already heat a lot in the body. Because of this heat, there can be bleeding a lot, because the blood vessels ruptures because of the heat element, and there can be burning sensation while they pass the stools because of the heat again. Acidity and heat, often they have early graying, so they have the gray hairs very early in their age. Sharpness in the actions, and also in the mind and body. So they have sharp teeth and sharp eyes, but they are also sharp with understanding and doing the things very logical, clear, decisive, and also they are competitive. So they like this competition. They like this. They need challenges. Yes, oiliness in the hairs and in the body, because part of it is also liquid element, water element. It's not only fire element, it's also liquid element. That liquidity can result in also loose stools, especially when they take milk products. These are people who has many times this lactose intolerances, for example. They have very loose stools when they consume milk products. Often excessive urination, sweat, and thirst. Rashes and pimples, acne, inflammatory changes, irritable moods. So this is because they are reactive. Their skin is reactive. Their um, body is very reactive in nature. Acids, refluxes, soreness in the acids in the stomach. Yes, the taste in the mouth is usually bitter and pungent. um,
Can I
Kapha
ask a
dosha,
question?
heaviness that is resulting in heavy bones, muscles, large frame of the body. Slowness, slow movement, stock. They speak slowly and digestion is slow. Cool, the coldness in the skin and repeated coldness and congestion. They will get cold often, like respiratory problems. So this cold and vata cold are different. So this cold is from water element, you can say solidified water element, let's say like an ice. It takes a while to melt. But vata cold is like air cold. It comes and goes. It's sometimes cold, sometimes warm. It changes. So it is like a wind. So that both coldness are a little bit different. Oiliness. This is also characters of a person who has kapha predominance. They have oily body and hair, skin, etc. Well lubricated joints. I told you this is the element which produces the lubrication to the system, and also provide the covering of the um, organs and joints. The density, dense character, this produces dense fat, thick skin, hairs are thick, nails, fishes, everything is more round and smooth organs. Static in characters, they cannot quickly start anything. So Vata people are very quickly motivated, but at the same time, their motivation goes down like fizzy drink, like a sparkling water. They just ooze out and then it finishes. Whereas Pitta people are really like forest fire. They burn and burn and burn and burn. They once they get started, they don't know sometimes to stop even. If it is also associated with Vata, Pitta Vata people, they really get quickly burnouts. Then coming to Kapha people, they are a bit more not so easy to start, but once they start, they can keep going because they are also they like the continuity, they like the stability more. So once they are starting a job and everything, they will stick on to it. They will be regular to it. So they like this. Yeah. Viscosity, strong attachment, emotions of love. Those are characteristic of Kapha people. They are very sticky. They attach very much. They are not easy to take away from uh, each other. So sweet, they have, so the sweet, the element, the food, let's say food substances or the whatever having a sweet taste as such, it is having more predominance of uh, water element and the earth element, which is increasing the kapha itself. So that's why they like sweets. They are more sweet. They are more kind in nature, compassionate and sweet people. So when you eat sweet, kapha increases. It doesn't mean that white sugar or processed sweets. It is the natural sweets like sweetness, which is like more from unprocessed carbohydrates like grains, unprocessed grains, or fruits, and sweetness from the vegetables, for example. So I will more stick on to the points more than the things around. But of course, things around also matters, because in my experience, more than uh, the crucial points, how you say those points is more important, because crucial points everybody knows they need to sleep, everybody knows they need to eat in time, everybody knows that they need to eat healthy. But why you need listen, I think it is to understand more about what is the reason of it, or rather at least to get inspired of it. So that's why the points around are also important. So Ayurveda defines the health in a kind of very holistic way, and it defines to different three pillars, very precise, very simple, because Ayurveda writes in Ayurveda there are three classical books, and all the books writes um, the first volumes of the books are definitely on well-being. It is written on well-being, and those chapters are very much composed of how you eat, how you sleep, how you do your lifestyle, other things, activities. Yes. So that is the three pillars are ahara, nidra, and brahmacharya or viharas. So it can be defined as a sexual context, but also as a lifestyle context. So um, yes. So these three things, how properly you do it, influences all different scenarios of your health. So proper time for eating, sleeping, and doing activities are the kind of the baseline. So that's all. This all talk is around it. It's not about anything too much. You need to sleep in time, you need to eat in time, you need to do your activities in time. So that's it. So but it is these points which makes it more important and interesting. That's why. So we want longevity, vitality. So longevity and vitality are two different things. Longevity means you want to live for 100 years. That is longevity. But vitality is how good you can live without diseases, without problems, with good mental health, physical health, with yes. So without diseases and this problems. Yes. So for the longevity we need certain we there are some longevity, and also for vitality there are some basic markers which we can understand, so which we can look for. One, the basic reasons of if you take, then it should be like the basic reasons of death. We want to avoid those reasons of death, or reasons of we want to avoid the reasons of morbidity. So we don't want to have, so what do we don't want to have, what we want to have, we want to have a good metabolic health. We want to avoid, for example, the diseases, chronic diseases, and also like life threatening diseases. So many of these diseases, for example, cancer, metabolic disorders, autoimmune disorders, they are all interlinked as well. So for example, cancer is now linked to poor immune system, or a kind of problem, or a kind of immune dysregulation. So when the immunity is was the immunity is if the immunity is bad, that results in the growth of the unwanted cells, and that creates the cancer. Yes. So it is again connecting to immune system, or metabolic health results in different diseases. So if you don't have a proper metabolic health, this is most known and most discussed. Most known is the weight gain. So amongst people, everybody want to lose weight. Why? Because they don't want to have metabolic problems. So they, many times the abdominal weight, sorry, the abdominal fat around the abdomen is linked to poor metabolism. So, or insulin resistance, which is long, which in turn long run results in diabetes, results in that is going to create 100 other complications, neuropathies, retinopathies, all the pathies like nephropathy, retinopathy, how you say, atherosclerosis. So many of the diseases will result because, just because of the insulin resistance, there is a lot of bunch of diseases can be explained. Autoimmune disorders. So this is another whole bunch of diseases which is affecting the vitality of the person. So they it is not life threatening, but if you get autoimmune problems like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, for example, that is killing the your body immune system itself is killing the your own thyroid cells. So this is also interlinked with our daily routines or our lifestyle. So that's what we want to whole summarize. So whole, as a holistic system, if you look, nothing is less important. Everything is interconnected, and everything uh, leaves a dot, leaves a kind of mark, and that's how you need to live. So we have something like I told you, external environment and internal environment, where we are influenced by the light from the sun. So that's where the primary signal comes to our body. So day and night, that is that the sunlight which falls into our eyes influences suprachiasmatic nuclei, which you see is a small place in our brain, which is harmonizes, or rather like a person who does the conducting the music, all different, how you say this, orchestrates different group of uh, music things. It is going to orchestrate many of our uh, functions of the body, whether it is hormonal rhythms, sympathetic, parasympathetic system, body temperature, rest and activity rhythm, feeding patterns, and sleep and wakefulness. So, but this also backwards it influences. If your core body temperature is increased, that also will influences your. It will give a feedback also to backward. So our system is always like interactive. Feeding pattern, when the eating is in a kind of inappropriate time, there will be all the kind of negative feedbacks which goes around, because it will influence the peripheral organs and the circadian clock which is there in peripheral organs. Circadian means that which is like a clock, that which is um, body clock, you can take it as. So yes, so other activities like social environment, familial and situations, or meal timings, they are all influencing all these harmonizations. So yes, so we need to definitely indulge in everything, but we need to indulge in a kind of balanced way, not too much, not too less. Excessive indulgence in whether it is in excessive exposure, or whether excessive indulgence in the food, thoughts, different types of activities, whether it is good activity, bad activity, all creates problems. or intensive climatic changes, or very high prominent genes which will result in, for example, some certain types of diseases, all are causes of diseases. So when Ayurveda explain the diseases, it is the excessive or total refrain of these things also is not good. If you completely refrain from exposure to anything, it also creates problems. So improper time, improper activity, improper desires creates the disease. Excessive, whether it is excessive of indulgence or refrain. So in sum total, everything in moderation is good. Everything good, or even if it is bad things in a moderation, is said to be a middle path is good. So whether about indulgence, this is the kind of short story I can say. So metabolism, we are discussing in all these other factors in a kind of in a short manner, but still I will say the most important things first, and then the all around things in the later, when as the time permits. So we have something like circadian rhythm, I told you. So something like the clock, circa means around, and dm means around the day. So approximately whatever the rhythm, biological clock, which is endogenous, which is built in, that is you can take it as one of them as suprachiasmatic nuclei, but which is in the brain. But there are also clocks which is the biorhythm is also kept in each organs. That's how each cells have biorhythm, they say. So that's why it has time of repair, time of activity. Each cells have certain time of rest, different type of activities. So they all have this clock which is moving around. So um, Ayurveda divides if you explain circadian rhythm in Ayurvedic terms, it is like different doshas are explained to be predominant in different time of the day. So if you divide the day into two, one day into two, that means daytime and the night. A day is night and day, and um, if you divide into to two pieces like 12 hours, you divide it into further 3 parts. Then first 4 hours you can consider roughly as kapha predominant time. So we will divide to half half, then it is like 6 to 10 more predominant with kapha time, you can say. Just before that, 4 hours before is vata time. That is like where the movement factor is high, whereas the first phase of the day is more stable and slow and sluggish, etc. So where there is um, stiffness in the arteries, or the kind of platelets are very adhesive, they are sticking together. That's why clots can form early in the morning hours. Plus there is also, before that, there is a surge of cortisol. So cortisol increases in the early morning hours and it should reduce in the evening hours. So if you take this as I told you, endocrine system, the hormonal system is very much influencing all our circadian rhythm. So naturally cortisol should increase during the morning hours, and then it should reduce in the evening hours. But if we constantly push it too much during the day and constant stressors are there, then you will not be able to relax and sleep, because cortisol in the morning is produced more so that you become alert and awake. So with this cortisol, if you do and angiotensin and blood pressure is increased during this phase, and platelet adhesiveness and viscosity is high. So that's maybe the reason why it's a perfect time for cardiac incidences, because all this, the coagulation factors are high, blood pressure is increasing, cortisol level is increasing, heart cardio enzymes are increasing. So yes, just to remember, I said, so kapha predominant time, pitta predominant time. So this is the time where you can do focused activities as well. So where we can do things which is the melatonin level has reduced. So if you explain here, the melatonin levels are dropping down and serotonin levels are growing, increasing. So you can focus better. You can do the things which is more need attention and focus. Pitta predominance is during the middle of the day. That's why the enzymes, digestive enzymes, and hormones are working most very well during this phase. So, like for example, in the early hours of the day, you have better sensitivity of the insulin, and towards the end phase of the day, insulin is not that sensitive. So everything which you eat towards the evening, too late after 6 o'clock, too much late after late night hours, then that will get more stored, because that's how the whole design works. This is more the time you can have more heavier meals, yes, and protein rich meals. Vata predominant time. So this is the time. Let's say this is 10 to 2, 2 to 6. So this is the time where you can do activities. So more resistance needed activities, the kind of resistance training, or the kind of activities which needs more cardiac output, for example. So vata predominance is more there. So it also influences the flexibility. So the blood vessels are also very uh, not so stiff, more flexible. Neuromuscular coordination is better. That's why evening hours is good, but not too late in the evening. If you exercise too much close to 6 and after 6, your sleep will be disturbed, because the I told you, the body temperature will be high. So one of the factor where the circadian rhythm is also influenced is core body temperature. So before the sleep, 1 to 2 hours before the sleep, the slowly the temperature of the body has to drop down. If you eat heavy meals or alcohol or exercise a lot, for one reason, the body temperature will be going up, and because of that one reason, body, not only that reason, there are other reasons why you cannot sleep, but one of the reason is body temperature will go up because of the higher heat which is being released through this heavy food, for example. So this is the time for exercises and very light meal. And the same thing repeats in the night as well. First phase is kapha predominant and more. This is the time you need to go to sleep, because this can make you a good deep sleep. And it marks the time of increase of slowly uh, increasing melatonin, and melatonin peaks up by 9 to 12, 9 to 11 is the surge, is the highest surge. So you need to sleep by 11, go to bed by 9 or 10. You go to bed and sleep by 11, at least sleep by 11. So 10 if you sleep, that's best. 9 is the time when the surge is on the peak. So you can best make use of the sleep, early hours of sleep is very important for signaling many of the uh, pathways, the pathways which is influencing our fat metabolism, the pathways which is influencing the um, apoptosis, killing of the bad cells from the body, the pathways which is resulting in better restoration of the memory and mental, the brain. So something like this. So the early hours of sleep and early to bed is better. That's the reason. And middle of the night is the time when the enzymes, like some of the enzymatic activities, are very very high. And early morning hours, all the movements also starts. Like for example, if you sleep, if you wake up a little bit earlier than 6 o'clock, you have better energy through the day, or the flow is much better because of the vata, which is influencing this flow. So cortisol is getting activated. So plan your day accordingly. Like I said, around 6 o'clock, if you can wake up, best focus is on 10 o'clock, highest meal of the day during the middle of the day, physical activity around 5 o'clock, bedtime around 10. So I will also try to conclude it very shortly. I mean, concise it very small. There is a kind of small daytime regime schedule which is been written, but it need not to be exactly like this. But I made it for my customization, so you can follow it as much as close as possible if you like to do it like this. But yes, there are improvisations possible, definitely. 6 o'clock wake up, first thing is going to toilet. So this is a sequence which we can follow. Go clean the gut, then brush the teeth. So the flux of bacteria doesn't go up. Not after the brushing, not going to toilet. First brush, first go to toilet and then brush. Or even drinking coffee and then going to toilet is not good. So scrape the tongue if you clean the tongue. Face washing, gargling with sesame oil a little bit. If you like to do oil pulling, you can do that for 5 minutes, and you can do a massaging of the gum and spit it out. 6:30 around, you can do very light exercises. Don't overdo do the exercises, but very gentle exercises. So because in the morning hours are not designed to do very intense exercise, so just keep it in mind. Breathing exercises, asanas, and then oil massage. If you like to go to this is a if you like to apply the oil on the body, then this is the time you can do a little bit of oil application, and it can help you to be more stay more flexible, and more the circulation will be much better. Okay, and bath after 1 hour of oil massage, after oil application, classically we say wait for some minutes and then take a shower. Warm water shower we advise, especially during the cold seasons. Then meditation or a little bit of spiritual practices. So after the bath we say to do the spiritual practices, that is more positive, we believe. And 8 o'clock is ideal for breakfast. So early breakfast, and it's not 1 to 2 hour after waking up is ideal. So have a warm cooked breakfast, because in the morning the digestive system will work better with warm food, because the spasms will go away. It will stimulate the digestive fire. The digestive fire is basically like slowly growing from morning till middle of the day, and from that is on the peak or during the middle of the day. Later it slowly drops down, so towards the evening it's like a furnace with all the kind of burned out sticks. So if you heat the room still with these sticks, then you can imagine after burning all these ashes are remaining. So um, that is the time. So if you again eat more, the fire is not much there to cook the food in our digestive system. It will become something like ama, we call it, as something which is not going to be metabolized properly, because I explained you. Just for one example I told about the whole enzyme sensitivities. Enzymatic sensitivity is more during the morning hours, like insulin, and middle of the day, and towards the evening it is sensitivity drops down. So that time if you eat more, it is going to be more high insulin, sorry, sugar spikes in the blood. which will rather result in long term low insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, diabetes, and further metabolic disorders. So 10 o'clock, if you like to eat something like fruits or dry fruits, we generally say don't combine the fruits with the meals. It should be eaten separately. Lunch should be the heaviest meal of the day, and protein, salads, grains, cooked vegetables, that is more ideal during the lunchtime. And if you eat salads, especially during the spring and summer, is more advised. So it is more during the lunchtime, not never at night dinner, better during the lunchtime. 3 o'clock, if you want to have again snack or something, it is fruit. One type of fruit at one time is ideal, and that too, seasonal fruits are more ideal. So just go, just look what the seasonal and local fruits as much as possible, rather than which comes from long distances and not ripened properly, not ideal. 5 to 6, evening walk and pranayama or breathing exercises, or if you do anything cardio, this is the time. 5 to 6 is better. Better tolerance of the heart, better cardiac tolerances, neuromuscular coordination. So it is better even you do something hard. It should be this time. 6:30, 6:30 or 7. It's not exactly the time, but 6:37. The last should be 7:30 maximum. Should not never go beyond 8. It's already late. 6:30 is ideal. So eat something more like light, vegan even, not even vegetarian, like vegan even, cooked meal with some grains or vegetables. So some soups will be a kind of very suitable for this reason. And evening hours, yes, it is the time to unplug yourself. I tell everyone that every day they need to have unplugging from all the stresses from the job. So it's much better if you can unplug yourself by from your stressful activities. um, it is better do some readings or self study, interactions with your family, socialization without alcohol, and all the bad habits. Yes, so that is ideal. Preparation for bedtime, it's about 9 to 10. And food massage, if you like to make a kind of regime, like sleep regime, sleep routine, sleep regime, this is also good. Sleep by 10, bedtime lights off, so sleep by 10. So this is a kind of miniature. If you like to understand, if you like to plan something around, just a model of um, daily activities, I could say. So okay, i will I will let the floor to be open. If you have any questions, can you ask? If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I will conclude. So, so I will conclude then. Thanks for joining, everyone, and thanks for patient listening. I hope to continue sessions in the future as well. So I will keep you all messaged or connected. Um, and if you need any help, yes, you saw my email address. Otherwise, I can send you in the chat. You could write to me if you have any questions, or if you like to join for consultation, or if you want to write me a question, definitely do that. Many thanks to everyone, and have a good night.